Hi everyone, it's Mr. Reed, and welcome to my video on week 23 for new grammar. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start with math. For math, we are learning about the distributive law states that A times open parentheses B plus C close parentheses equals A times B plus A times C. And we just went and drilled that a few times through, and we did one voice, funny voice, we used Yoda to kind of go through that. For Latin, we are reviewing again from previous weeks, I think, or maybe weeks 7 and 8. We're just started fifth declension noun endings, and for that, we went ahead and used the melody for the CCCD. You know, what we've been doing all year long. So, and the kids are doing a great job with that and know it very well. Next, for science, we learned about what are some types of clouds. And for some types of clouds, we introduced some new hand motions to learn about those. And I'll go ahead and go through those with you. So, the first was cumulonimbus. Big word. And for that, we went ahead and use the following hand motion. We started off with our hands like this, and then we kind of started going up, kind of like a river, and ended up with our hands like that. And next, we learned about cirrus, and when we finish our previous one, cumulonimbus, we have our hands up high. Let me scoot back a little bit so you can catch it in the video. You have your hands up high already, and then you just start to change your hands this way, and you start waving them back and forth like that for cirrus. All right? And next is stratus. And for stratus, we take our hands down toward about our waist, and we kind of move them to the side like that. And we kind of wiggle our fingers across like that for stratus. Next is cumulus. And for cumulus, we took our two hands like this. So we put it right about here, just below my shoulders, to represent cumulus. And last is stratocumulus. We then break our hands apart, and we kind of start taking our fingers like this to represent stratocumulus. All right, so let's go ahead and go through all of those real quickly and show you how it all goes along. Cumulonimbus, cirrus, stratus, cumulus, stratocumulus. All right, that's science. All right, next is linking verbs. We were introduced the following: seem, appear, look, sound. And along with myself and all the classmates, we tackled 20 jumping jacks today to go through those linking verbs 20 times, going through those jumping jacks. So great job everybody on that. And that's what we did for English. All right, timeline. So for timeline, I introduced some hand motions for that as well. Let's go through each one of those. So we started with age of information and globalization. We did two hand motions for that one. So age of information, put our fingers to our heads like this. In globalization, we brought our hands down like that, kind of representing like we're holding the world in our hands in a way. That's kind of how I came up with that. All right, next is Watergate, President Nixon resigns. And for that, we did something kind of fun with the kids where I pretended that I was drinking a water bottle and trying to get the last of the water out of it. So that's what we did for Watergate, President Nixon resigns. All right, the next one is Fall of Communism in Eastern Europe. And with that, I had my hands to the side about halfway, and then I kind of brought my hands down right past my waist, actually, so to kind of represent fall. So fall of communism in Eastern Europe. Next was European Union formed. And for that, I brought out the letter E from the American Sign Language, and that for letter E in American Sign Language looks like that. Next is apartheid abolished in South Africa. So for apartheid, that means apartness, that word. And for that, I went ahead and had our hands kind of close together like this, and then broke them apart to represent that hand motion. So apartheid abolished in South Africa. Okay, next is September 11th, 2001. And for that, I had my hands way out like this to represent an airplane that had represented the tragedy of 9/11 in New York. And last was Rising Tide of Freedom. For the Rising Tide of Freedom, we had our hands out like this, and we had them kind of going up and then coming down and up. So kind of like a rising tide, like you would see on the ocean front. So Rising Tide of Freedom. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll go through all of those hand motions together at once right now. Okay, so we have Age of Information and Globalization, Watergate, President Nixon resigns, Fall of Communism in Eastern Europe, the European Union formed, apartheid abolished in South Africa, September 11th, 2001, Rising Tide of Freedom. Next, we have history. So with history, we're talking about the liberation of South America. And for that, we actually went ahead and talked through it together. And then we introduced the CC song for this and had some fun where we would all sing the song together, and then we would assign parts where first I went ahead and would state the parts of the song where it goes, "They fought." And then the kids would sing the rest of the song, and then vice versa. The kids would then say the part "they fought," and then I sang through it. So real quickly, it's in the early 1800s, San Martin of Argentina, O'Higgins of Chile, and Bolivar of Venezuela fought to liberate South America from Spain. All right, last is our geography. So in geography, we move from West South America from last week to now South America East. And the countries that we learned from that were the following. So we had Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Brazil, French Guiana, Suriname, and Guyana. All right, so that wraps up our new grammar for week 23. Good to have everybody in class this week, and the weather's getting really nice. It was enjoyable to be outside, have lunch afterwards today. So I will see you all next week for our final week of CC for 2018 to 19. So hard to believe we're coming up on our last time together in our community. So again, have a great week, and I will see you on Tuesday next week.